You say plenty of smart things, Matthew. What would you say? Ready to go?
I'm ready to rock and roll. Didn't realize we all dressed for the funeral today, huh?
Damn.
Yeah. Except for Emily.
This is the last podcast. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it.
You coming
Thank you
on.
for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So, to go on what you guys were just talking about a little bit, how do you like being back home in the hometown now?
I don't love it, especially this time of year.
It's very cold.
Oh, it's pain. It hurts my skin.
Yeah. That's something, I moved down to Florida for a bit, like right after high school. And that was the first thing that really struck me was like, oh, do you walk outside? And sometimes the air would actually feel good on you, too. And that's something you don't really get around here.
Isn't that crazy?
It was, I know it sounds dumb, but it was such a weird,
sensation.
Moment where it was like, wow, I could stand out here for a minute. And then, these days,
makes you
where
tougher.
we are now. Yeah, it does.
We weren't put on this earth to be happy.
No.
Sure, you've always said that.
Yeah.
I think that was
There's
Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a snowblower either, so we've just been shoveling nonstop.
I ended up in the same position, and I really made a hard push to get a snowblower Saturday. I was like, Sunday. After Saturday, we got all that snow. I was like, I'm buying a fucking snowblower. And people were like, no, you got to wait. You're going to get ripped off if you buy a snowblower now. And I was like, I don't care. I just want a snowblower.
Yeah.
And then I looked, and it would have been a ripoff to buy a snowblower. So I shoveled again on Monday. But, snowblower incoming. This spring, I'm definitely getting my hands on a snowblower.
Can you get like a used one?
I probably could. I don't know. This is
Facebook Marketplace.
I'm not
That's what I was
This
Yeah.
is my problem with Facebook Marketplace specifically. I'm not a handy. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm a handy guy when it comes to like wood and building stuff. I know nothing about motors and engines and oils and all of that stuff.
How many pistons you working with?
That's what I mean. Like, I got no clue. Like, people will ask me about my truck. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is
Brother.
Yeah, this is just a truck. I got
you
I
drive
got
the worst
truck.
car for that.
Yeah. And I don't know. So I fear that if I buy a snowblower, and this is the other problem, this is a society problem, is I also can't ask, because if I ask somebody like, hey, what do I do? They're going to be like, you don't know how to work on engines. They're going to make fun of me.
You know how I figure things out sometimes?
The internet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube it. There's all those YouTube
Google.
channels. There's all those YouTube channels. Now, we did grow up with a dad, but there's a lot of YouTube channels where it's guys making videos for people who didn't grow up with dads.
Yes.
You just
I've
look at
seen
one of
that
those.
one.
Yeah.
Like, there's a guy I work with who is apparently much more confident in himself than I am, who has openly admitted, like, he doesn't prep his snowblower, like, at the end of winter. I guess you gotta
oil it or
you
something.
gotta prep it. You gotta get it ready to not be
prep
used
it.
for a few months.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he openly admits that he doesn't do it, and he's gone through like 3 snowblowers and like thousands of dollars of repairs just because he doesn't do it.
Jesus.
And I don't want to. Like, I'd rather be the guy that's like, nah, I don't mind shoveling, than be the guy that has to admit that I don't know how to take care of my snowblower.
It's such a pride thing for
Yeah.
you.
So now that's out in the public, but so if anybody has any advice on how to take care of a snowblower,
We'll be
I'm gonna
getting
get one.
snowblowers delivered to the studio like letters to Santa.
Hey,
We're going to do a whole miracle
Yeah.
on 38th Street or whatever.
because if you look on Facebook Marketplace, they'll be like, yeah, runs good, just needs a quick flush out. Or so, and I'm
So
like,
flush it out.
oh, yeah, flush out. I don't know what a flush out is. And I know I would do it wrong. I just know I would.
Nah, you
So-
can flush it. You can flush
I think
most
I got to
things.
go electric. That's why I get all electric tools now. They've come far enough to where I'm like, I know how to plug a battery in.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's actually a good call.
Yeah.
Because they make ones that the battery, you can use the same battery for your lawnmower and your snowblower.
But this is totally getting off the rails. But that's why I'm heavy in the game of like, nah. Like, I'm telling you, like, my electric lawnmower work so good. It's quiet.
Mhm.
But for all I know, a gas one could work way better. But then I'd have to figure out how to.
I think those are easier though.
Yeah.
I think that's just like put the gas in, pull the string.
Yeah, pull the string.
But what happens if you pull the string and it?
You ever
and it
see
doesn't-
Toy Story?
It doesn't go. What happens if you pull the string and it doesn't go?
You gotta then
Pull
you're
it
pulling
harder.
it. Yeah, you're pulling it wrong.
But there's a chance that you pull the string, it doesn't go, and then what? Because then I have
You
to
pull
figure.
it again.
I feel like
Sir.
you
No,
asked
I
the same
mean,
question twice in a
if
row.
you
How do you
if you
operate
keep
a motor
pulling it-
vehicle? For cripe's sakes.
Push
I
start.
I bring it to Delta
It's a fob.
Sonic,
It's
and I
got a
say,
fob.
"Give me the works." And they're like, "Yeah, you need a new air filtration double filter with extra Febreze. It's $4,000, but your old
Yeah.
one's pretty dirty. I'm like, yeah, just put it on the card.
Yeah, that'll hit you about 4K
Yep.
for one of those.
Yeah.
That's probably about 4K.
Right.
Did you guys watch any of the SNL 50?
I haven't yet. I have not.
Oh my gosh.
I saw
This is a big thing.
Sandler's song,
Yep.
which I was a little disappointed in because I didn't think it was that funny. And like I know it was
It was
supposed to be
nice,
like
though.
Well, that's the point. But if I see Sandler pick up a guitar, I'm expecting humor.
No, dude, you got to get into like his back catalog of songs. There's a you know the movie Funny People that he's in with Seth Rogen.
Yep.
There's a song in that he like his character plays, but it's a real song that he played, and it's a great tune. It's called like Real Love. You can find it on Spotify or whatever. It's a real good.
I don't even have the patience to look up how to put gas in a lawnmower on YouTube. You think I'm gonna dive deep into the Sandler archive?
Well, I'm just saying it's worth your time if you do.
But anyway, how was it?
It was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was cool. Two of my buddies from high school who we used to watch the show every week, we got together and to like watch this. First time I've had like solid pizza in a while because I live in Rochester and there's no good pizza in
Oh.
Rochester. And I know like some of my friends from like other places are like Buffalo pizza sucks because it is different. It's unique, but especially compared to Rochester, it's like, I mean,
I like the
it's
Buffalo
top-notch.
pizza better than I liked the New York pizza.
What like, because the thing about Buffalo and like the areas, there's like at least 4 different kinds of pizzas that I can think of that you could call Buffalo pizza.
Sure.
So are you talking about like the full Buffalo slice where it's like real doughy?
What's your
cheese
favorite
and
pizza
stuff?
place?
Yeah.
So there's a few. Obviously, like Just Pizza.
Okay.
Is-
That's a good slice.
Solid.
That's top tier. I like Bocce's.
I don't
Oh,
mind
yeah.
bocce either.
I haven't had bocce's in years.
And Franco's would probably
Yeah.
be.
I think that's
Franco's is
where I had
probably-
it the other night.
That's where
And I was like,
that's
this
where
is
I get
good.
pizza from.
Yeah.
I haven't had Franco's in years, and I was
Yeah.
like, this holds up. It
Yeah.
hits. It's good
Franco's
stuff.
is a good slice. No, I'm happy. I'm happy with all those options. I'll take any one of them. I don't like estranged pizza either. And back to New York, listen. I hate saying this to people that lived in New York because I feel like everybody that lives in New York loves New York. This is not for me. I cannot.
That's totally normal.
There's way too much going on.
Yeah.
As you know, I walked in here today and I was like, my brain was working a million miles an hour. Imagine me in New York City. And when you go into a place to get a slice of pizza in New York City, like they expect you to,
You should have
like,
seen.
you need to know what you're doing.
Matthew and I were there because Matthew had tickets to see the Nets, which is my favorite basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So he, kindly asked me to go with him. So we went there. We were in Brooklyn for a day, and you should have seen him handle himself in Insomnia cookies. That was brutal. Well, it's kind of exactly what he's describing. But, this isn't like a bodega or any kind of like small place. This is it's an Insomnia Cookies right outside Barclays Center. And we walk in, there's a bunch of people getting out from the game, and Matthew and his work buddy are just standing there like no idea what's
There's a
going
lot
on.
of cookie
And
options.
but then more people are coming in, so they kind of like shuffle off to the side, and then I wasn't sure what you were doing. You were just standing there, and everybody comes in, is like, "Are you
Oh my
guys up? Are
God.
you guys up?" And you're like, "Probably not. We don't really know."
You would never get a ride on a train.
No,
Ever.
After you,
And here's,
Yes!
and here's the thing, like,
please.
You got
I
to
go-
box out if you want
I
to
go
get
to
it.
the
Gotta
city.
box out, kid.
I go to the
Bose,
city.
Bose.
dude, I'm not touching a train. I'm
Oh
Ubering
my God.
everywhere. Like I'll take insane Ubers too. Like Ubers that if somebody from New York would be like, "You are the stupidest person I've ever met," and I'm like, I don't know how to train. Nobody's ever taught me how to train. And again, I can't figure it out. It's just it's
The thing is, though, you will. Like, if you were just dropped there, and it's just like total immersion learning.
I think if I was in like fight or flight mode, like if I was in survival mode, like, hey, you have to figure out how to take this train, I do think I could.
Yeah.
But I like to live my life. My head is always in survival mode. It's anxiety.
Yes.
So when I have the opportunity to remove myself from a situation that externally would put my body in that mode too, I just take boom
Oh,
Uber.
that's where I thrive. because I have the anxiety too. But it's like my brain and my thoughts move as fast as like the city does. So I blend in, like my crazy blends in, because it's not like, I'm like, okay, I'm used to this because now the outside matches the inside and now I can blend in.
That's
I
never
cool.
thought of it like that. So
I like that.
If you're, let's say getting ready to go up on stage or anything, like does that feeling like come into play too? You're like, I know I can just go up there and just like do my thing, or if you're getting ready to do something like that, does that come into play?
Like all the time, or just in New York, or
well, yeah, in general, like
just like getting nervous before going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I get excited. I don't know. Definitely more excited than nervous. I mean, you always wonder like, is it going to be a good set? How's the crowd? But I don't think I've ever gone like very first in a lineup because I feel like once they're warmed up,
gotcha,
and they've had a drink or two, because there's always a minimum at a club. I don't know. I don't get super nervous. I definitely get excited though. So like it's like nervous energy, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna bomb. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, okay, as soon as like I land the first joke, then it's like super
then you're
comfortable.
Just into it.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's something I've heard a lot of people say. That same thing. Once you get things going,
Yeah.
it's like bing, bang, boom.
And once you go to open mics in the city, like nobody really pays attention to you when you're doing an open mic because it's all comedians.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get the comedians to like look up and laugh during an open mic, you're like, oh, the ones that pay to be here and are counting on laughing are gonna love it. So that's how you know you have like a solid joke.
Yeah. I like that. And is that something that you were doing often in the city then? Like just
Oh my
open
God.
mic nights?
Yes.
And,
Yes. And the open mics are so much different, and there's so many of them. Like I would go to 3 in a day before a show. Like the week of a show, I would just be going 2 to 3 mics every day. But yeah, and it's fun though because you run from like one part of the city to the next. A lot of train taking.
Yep.
A lot of neighborhood
I'd
wandering.
collapse.
Yeah, you would need like a map or like a big budget for Uber.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun going to the mics, and everyone's super supportive. And I was super new. Like I started doing it just before like maybe 6 months to the beginning of the year that I left. So maybe I was just like too far removed to know any of like the politics that goes on, because of course there is. But all the people that I met at the open mics, they were super cool. And I met some people that like write for Saturday Night Live, or worked for Saturday Night Live, or used to write for like Seth Meyers. There's just, those people are just everywhere. It's all people, creatives, and it's really cool. I love it. It's an awesome scene for sure.
Yeah, I could definitely see that in like that, especially line of work. There's probably so many creative people there, and it's good to hear that they're supportive, because I feel like that's a rarity in a lot of different industries. You said though, you kind of just started comedy before you moved to New York. Was that something that you'd always wanted to do, or what kick started that to say, hey, I'm just going to jump into it and do it?
So it was actually right before I left, right before I moved back. So it wasn't before I moved there. Yeah, I got into it like in the last seconds of the last quarter, and then I had to leave. But I wanted to do it for so long. I had just I went through a really bad breakup with a guy that is just so easy to dunk on. So I had material there. And then I lost my job. And it got to a point where it's like, all right, how much, like, I can't cry about it anymore. It's time to just, like, start tearing shit up and just, like, get it off my chest a different way. And I had a lot of things, like, jokes that I had written from, like, 10 plus years. And I just kept writing things down that I never said to anybody. And then there are some stories that I've told my friends, and they're like, oh, that's so funny. You should try stand. Like, everyone, I feel like someone says that to you at some point in your life.
Yeah.
And someone said it to me in that moment that it was just perfect. And I ended up doing, like, my first open mic a few days after a conversation I had with my cousin. And I've been just doing it ever since, and it's just gotten better and better. It's fun.
That's awesome.
Was there anxiety going up on that first one, or more of the nervousness, or was that just kind of like, whatever happens with this goes?
whatever happened, like I had nothing to lose.
Right.
I still have nothing to lose. Like, so it's really, that helps, certainly. And I didn't know what to expect the first open mic. I thought there were going to be people, like an audience. No, it was like a little sprinkling of all amateur comedians.
Yeah, other people just like waiting for their turn to get on.
Yeah, and after so many people go on, there's going to be at least one who totally sucks.
Yeah.
And when you see that, you're like, all right, I'm right.
Yeah,
like,
I can't be worse than that guy.
Was rough. Let me get up there. I think I can do it.
I like that. Wait till the shitty guy goes.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I've been. Yeah, that's how I live my life.
It's number one rule, man.
And like I went to a couple free shows before I went to the open mic, the first open mic I did, and like some of them sucked, and I was like, oh, I could do this. Like if they're brave enough, I got to just try it. So I did.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I mean, that's something that people say you kind of need to give anything a try.
Yeah.
Like, you got to kind of see the people who are bad at it, but still
100%.
doing it. And, like,
and you have to, like me, everybody has to like screw up once or twice and like bomb or have a joke not land. And then you just have to make yourself the joke, and that's how you get through that.
Yeah. It's so I'm a theater actor.
Oh.
So it's a lot easier, but there is still, shows where like, yeah, it's just not going. This last show that I was in, we had a Tuesday night performance, and it was like, there were, probably like 100 people there or whatever, but it was like not a single one was into it. And so, my favorite part though on those nights is, after you do a play, for some fucking reason, they make you all walk out and like take a bow or whatever. Yeah. And so this night, it's like we all walk out there and they have to keep clapping. And like they didn't laugh at all during the show, but now just because of politeness, I guess, they're forced to clap for as long as we stand on there. And I'm like, this is the funniest thing that's ever happened. And then we got the fuck out of there, which was fine. But yes, you gotta enjoy the bombing a little bit, I think. Yeah,
because at one point it's just like, well, I'll just count this as a practice, and let's try this one. That one didn't land. Maybe this one won't land. We'll figure it out now.
Yeah, we like to say some of them are just for us.
Yeah, you got to keep some in the family.
Yeah. Even a couple of podcasts, even a couple of recent podcasts that we've had, it's like maybe this one's just for the fellas.
What episode are we on, Emily?
This is 253.
Yeah, so we've had at least 220 that were just.
Yeah, that were probably just for the fellas, just for us and our childhood dentist.
Yeah,
we're probably pretty much all.
Yeah, that was
shout out to
him. Yeah. Comedians always say that, and like, obviously, I self-deprecation is definitely my like main form of laughing. Like I'll make jokes about myself quite often just in conversation, and I think that if you put me in a room, people or no people, and just handed me a mic, I could talk I would have no problem speaking. Mm-hmm. But if you had to say, okay, now you got to try to tell a joke, I would freeze up instantly. Like I don't know how I would do that. And comedians always say like, yeah, like at some point you're always going to bomb. Like you just don't even, once you do it, you get it over with. You don't even think about it. I don't know that I could get past that. Like I think that would be my number one fear.
Well, thanks for sharing, first and foremost.
I was just saying. Because I feel like it's an impressive thing to be like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm just, like, I'm just going to go out there and do it. And if people like it, they like it. If people don't, they don't. Like, it's a hard skill to have to be comfortable in that situation.
That's fair.
Yeah, takes time, I imagine, at some, for some folks. Folks, we've all had a moment just like this, where you go to the grocery store, you're prepping up, maybe you're making a special dinner or something. Maybe you're having people coming over, friends. You're like, ooh, I got a recipe. I can't wait to try my hands at it. So you go to the grocery store, you're getting all the ingredients, you come home, and you realize you forgot that one key thing. Rice, wine, vinegar, chives, could be anything. All right, what are you going to do? People are on their way over. It's time to get cooking, man. You don't have time to go back to the grocery store. Relax. Okay, calm down. you don't have to go through all that because you can just use Instacart. This is the age we're living in, folks, okay? And the great part about Instacart is you can get a lot more than just groceries. You can get some of your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your front door in as little as 1 hour. But the best part is that right now, 2 in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $10 or more. $10 free delivery. I mean, anything you order is going to be $10, okay? 2 packs of Oreos because you're not getting 1. That's $10 delivery fee, no problem. Okay, all you have to do to get that deal is hit the link in this episode description. Again, free delivery for 2 in the Cooler listeners. Check that out. Start making things a little easier on yourself and use Instacart today. Folks, you want to do something nice for yourself? I bet you do. Well, why not check out all the great merch that we have got over at snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, bucket hats, flops. That's as far as I can get without having to think about it. Pint glasses, all kinds of great stuff. Okay, I don't even have time to listen to all that. Instacart ad was too long. We're running out of space. Okay, but the point is, it's top quality merch also. Okay, this is not that Gildan brand or whatever you're getting from, some gross, weird press-on stuff. I don't know. This is top quality, folks. Okay, don't take my word for it though. Feel free to check it out for yourself. Again, that's snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. And if you're interested in advertising on this show, you can email us at snackspotsports@gmail.com for details on how you can start reaching thousands of listeners in the Buffalo area and beyond. McDonald's is getting heavy into the podcast game. Nissan, Emily, you drive a Nissan, not to dox you, okay? You can bleep that out. But whatever car company I just said, if Emily did bleep it out for her own personal well-being, is advertising on podcasts. Although I guess that could probably cut things down because I don't think Ford is doing it. This is one of the only car companies, but Ford will be doing it soon. That's not the point. The point is this. Okay, with companies of this size, like McDonald's and State Farm and stuff, NASCAR, that with companies like that with huge ad budgets, they're doing spots on the Super Bowl and things like that. To see them move into the podcasting space is really cool. It's a great thing. The problem is there hasn't been any room yet for smaller or even local spots to get in on that action and to discover the benefits of podcast advertising, why these massive companies are advertising on podcasts. Okay, smaller businesses haven't gotten their chance to dive into that yet. But the good news is that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about. So again, if you're interested in learning more about all the benefits to podcast advertising that these big companies already know, again, you can hit us up, reach out to us at snackspotsports@gmail.com. I guess back to the Saturday Night Live 50th, because I did want to talk about that a little bit.
I got us off the rails.
No, not at all. I don't know what we were just talking about, but I did love it.
I did see one of the well, I saw a few on Instagram, so I went on YouTube and I watched one of the skits that I saw them do with Meryl Streep. Yeah. And Kate McKinnon. Yeah. The alien abduction people. Oh, my
Classic.
God. That is one of my favorite all-time characters. I know her last name's Rafferty. I don't know what her whole name is in that sketch, but
yeah.
That is the best. And then I watched the original with Ryan Gosling. Oh, yeah. That
all-time classic.
Yeah. That one never gets old.
Yeah, this one was great. Meryl Streep had never been on SNL before, I guess.
Oh, my God.
Which I didn't realize, but people on Twitter were saying it when she was on there.
Huh.
I don't think she's ever been.
Is that what they did a lot of, old skits refurbished kind of
thing?
Yeah,
that's all it was. It was just new takes of reoccurring sketches that have reoccurred before.
Who's it? Kristen Bell with the mini hands.
Kristen Wiig
with the mini hands. I did see they did
Goonies. That's a classic.
I did see they did mini hands. That was the only thing I saw from it.
That's why this comparing this one to the 40th anniversary special that 10 years ago, there were so all the sketches that they did in this one were sketches that were on when I was watching in high school and middle school.
Right.
So I thought it was really funny, but I was also oh boy, that means
you're hearing it with an adult ear.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, kind of. But man, it was awesome. I can't. Oh, all right. I don't know if this is maybe we'll cut this, but speaking of the Meryl Streep thing, I think I've been on a Meryl Streep kick lately, just because the movie Julie and Julia. Top notch. Watched that again recently. Devil Wears Prada. That's a must. And
0 for 2 on my end, but no, I believe you. I just like I said, not pop culture guy.
Just you haven't watched them?
Yeah, never seen them. I've seen
Julie
the
and
episode
Julia, you could maybe skip.
I've seen the episode of The Office where Michael Scott watches Devil Wears Prada. That's what I base my information on Devil Wears Prada from.
He probably gets it pretty right.
Yeah.
But I think so. I've had Meryl Streep on the brain, and then when she showed up, I was like, "Oh wow, there she is." I think that look, it's live television. I think that some of I think I saw Meryl Streep's underboob, is what I'm trying to say. There's no other way to get that out.
Where? Like in which?
There's
sketch?
in that sketch.
The Rafferty sketch.
Yes, I think she was like, I don't know, maybe laughing at Pedro Pascal or doing something with a cigarette, but it sure came up a little bit, and I was like, I think America just got a little peek at Meryl Streep, which I feel like if you're Meryl Streep, you gotta like, whatever, it's out there, you gotta let that go. If I were Meryl Streep, I'd be like, you're welcome. If somebody said that shit to me.
You think that's the first peak America's ever had of Meryl Streep underboob?
I don't think that's the first peep of Streep.
Yeah, the first peep of Streep.
Emily, can we get numbers on the Peep Streeps? On the Street Peeps? How many Street Peeps have there been recently? I mean, in the last decade, do we count the 70s? 70s Street Peeps? That's a whole different kind of Street Peep. But yeah, I think that's the first ever Street Peep. I don't think she's ever gone. I don't think she's ever gone for it.
And you bring this up because you wanted to tell us how it made you feel?
Yeah,
or?
I just thought it was looking for. Well, it's just because.
Were you aroused?
Yeah,
or
you seem to be.
Let's address that elephant in the room.
I was more like, well, because she's so famous. Like, it's imagine, like, I don't know, seeing like the Queen's boobs or something like that.
You.
Like, exactly.
Immediate pass.
I mean, well, imagine if
Been
the Queen were like,
yeah.
But just like such a famous person, and I put Meryl Streep on like a quite a pedestal. And it's just like, oh shit! Like, one, it's kind of like,
is it a pedestal high enough to see her underboob?
it's right under. It's that sweet spot. It's just barely. Yeah. Perfect. It's just tall enough. And now I'm thinking maybe I'm crazy because nobody was talking about it, but I'm like, it was a lot more shocking than arousing, certainly.
I'm getting no hits when I Google Meryl Streep underboob SNL 50. So
well, if you take the SNL 50 off, I mean, don't.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to keep it very specific.
Maybe that's. Let's see.
Because there's got to be some great AI photos of Meryl Streep boob out there. Just saying.
I don't think so. I think
you'd be
the first. I think you'd be the first one to put it together.
Go Gadget, Meryl Streep underboob.
Siri, go Gadget.
I bet Diddy might have a picture of that underboob.
Was Meryl Streep part of the club?
No,
was she getting oiled up?
Did she freak off?
Yeah, she might have been freaking.
She's got it. No. She's got her Street Peeps and her Freak Offs. Those are two competing brands. Okay, so if Diddy's throwing his parties, the Meryl ones, they're not uncovering those.
Yeah, those.
Nobody's putting that list out. Yeah.
Who else was on SNL 50? Notable cameos.
Jack Nicholson. Everybody was talking about him because I guess he hasn't been around in a while or something. I don't know. I'm not keeping tabs on him, so I haven't seen him. But he introduced a musical guest, so that was cool.
Who were the musical guests? Old musical guests?
They had all kinds of people. The opening of the show was Paul Simon and Sabrina Carpenter.
I did see.
I saw that.
Yeah, and Paul Simon, I saw I assume on the back of that performance, he's doing another tour now. Even though he said he was retired like a couple of years ago. I feel like those rock guys, they just like they don't expect to keep living, so they're like, oh, I'm retired, but then they're like.
Yeah. Well, they get home and they realize they can't do as much cocaine while they're just sitting around.
I don't know if Paul Simon was ever a huge cocaine guy. He probably was, though. He just kept it to himself.
I feel like he was more of a trippy, like, mushroom dude.
Yeah. Could be.
Maybe Garfunkel with that crazy hair. He was more on the
his hair looked like yours until he tried cocaine.
That's what I would expect.
Yeah. Like, oh, this can work. Oh my God, my teachers were right.
Your hair is on coke. Yeah. Oh my God.
That was cool. Miley Cyrus and the woman from the Alabama Shakes did a song, which was awesome.
Ooh.
Look, I'm not like when we were in high school, I feel like, Lil Wayne, maybe more middle school, but like that was like very popular kind of thing. He did it, but it was never really for me. He performed at the SNL 50th. I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan now. I think that guy is really talented.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's really
He was probably performing with some anger, too, because he got snubbed from the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think so. I think Weezy let that one slide off his back. I don't think he's worried about it.
I don't know. In his hometown, in New Orleans, I think he was upset. Rumblings I'm hearing.
Who's he going to blame? That's not.
I have a source. I have one source. I'm not going to give it up. Yeah.
But man, that guy. I guess I'm a little late to the party, but I'm telling you, I think that guy's gonna make it. There's something to that guy.
Yeah, 20 years late. But
no, he was really good though. Oh, and then Paul McCartney.
That makes
brought
sense.
it out at the end, which was pretty solid. Doing some of the Wing songs and stuff.
All in all, does SNL 50 bring SNL back from the dead or no?
I think this season's been pretty good.
All right.
To tell you the truth, and Saturday Night Live, I don't think. I mean, there's been a couple of past seasons that I haven't really been super into, but, I mean, people wrote such scathing articles about, like, the Sandler, Farley, Spade era, when that was going on. Like, it's always a show that sometimes people hate, but I think that no matter what, like, there's, like, kids out there who are in middle or high school who are like, this is the funniest thing that I'm seeing right now.
Right.
Probably. And that's part of the show. It keeps going. It keeps growing and building, and it's not for everybody.
Right.
Just something to think about.
Yeah, no. Listen, I trust both of your opinions over mine when it comes to the matter. More so just curious. Back to the comedy thing. Sorry, I was being polite. Now I feel like you gave me a look earlier, and I thought I was talking too much, so I dialed it back.
Never.
Back to the whole comedy thing. So, you start right before you leave from New York, or right before you leave New York back to come to Buffalo, and then you come back and you've got a taste of it. I'm assuming you really started to enjoy it, and then you're back in Buffalo, and it's like, okay, it's a totally different scene. It's a totally different element. So, what was that adjustment period like? Did you feel like you had to kind of dive in right away and start again, or did you hesitate when you came back until you jumped back into it?
When I came back, I didn't know anything about any comedy scene in Buffalo. And then I was working at my friend's shop, and one of her clients, she was telling everybody, she's a comedian, she just got back from New York. I'm like, I don't do that. I'm like, I'm a wannabe. Like, I do stand-up here and there. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm a comedian. And she was like, oh, have you ever been to Babeville? And so she showed me this ad for Babeville. And I just started looking up people's names on Instagram, and that's how I like reached out to people and found out about the mics. And then I just started going to the open mics. There's only like 4 or 5 per week. In New York, there was like 60 per day, 60 to like some days there was like probably like 50 or so, and then some days there were just like 2-page like internet pages worth, like everywhere you like would turn. So that was different because I was used to like going to a mic, seeing how it went, watching the recording, adjusting, going to the next mic like an hour later, it's all fresh, doing it again with a few tweaks, and then either there was time for another one or I would wait till the next day. But it was constant work of like writing, editing, and then like just getting it to your tight 5, which is like obviously like your best 5 minutes of comedy. And that was one of my like first opening jokes that I had, was that, I'm going to do my tight 5 for you. It's your best 5 minutes of stand up. I thought it was a Kegel exercise I'd never heard of. Gotta do your tight 5.
Yeah, I would have laughed.
Yeah. But yeah, so I started. Good Bar was the first mic I went to. And everyone's pretty cool. Everyone's really cool. And then, like in the summer, there was this contest held at the one comedy club that we have here in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And wow, people changed. Wow.
Whoa, when the competition started going, it was ruthless.
Ugly side.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah, man. I was good. I did like the first round. I did the first round and didn't make it, which was like totally fine with me. And then like, wow, the vibe just went so fast. And it was summer, which is like the worst time to fuck the vibe up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And yeah, people just became kind of like, everyone was getting their freaking feelings hurt left and right. Like, people were taking it way to heart. People were being mean. Like, yeah, it was a little crazy. So,
like in their sets, like in the next
no,
round, like
all behind the scenes shit that like I never wanted to know about.
Yeah.
So I didn't. But yeah. Wow.
That surprises me, especially because, you know, one, what you touched on in New York and like how the comedy scene was there and very supportive, and two, then coming to Buffalo where, you know, there is, I guess, less mics, you know, there's you know, fewer number of people. You'd think that they'd want to band together and be a little bit more supportive, but it seems like the second competition comes into play, that all goes out the window.
That was just like not what I was expecting. I'm like, these are the most like mellow, like nicest, like just friendly, having a fun time like all through until that started. And then I just didn't like how people were like acting and feeling. Like I would just see things and hear things and I would be like, really? Like him? Why? Like, and or like someone would be like really upset that they like didn't make the next round, and I just wanted to like hug everybody and just be like, stop. Yeah. I wanted to like be a peacemaker somehow, and there is no peace in comedy when you're doing the Buffalo's Funniest, apparently. But maybe that was inside info. I don't really know. I'm pulling the curtain back. Well,
whistleblower.
Yeah.
So, but having experienced that, then has that, you know, made you more so appreciate the opportunity to do more like open mic things, like in a situation where there's another competition aspect? Is that something you still, you know, see yourself pursuing more? Or
I would do another one. I don't think I would do it in Buffalo, but it didn't like put me off of anything.
Gotcha.
At all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's you know, like I've worked with some people who like, yeah, backstage they just get there's something weird about them. You know what I mean? And I just like, what the? It's strange because like you get a group of people like that together, and you do kind of have a common goal,
right? And
obviously there's conflict there because I feel like with the Buffalo Helium, like there's one person getting that spot, you know? Yeah. So that's what makes it crazy. But like when people are acting that way, like what the, like I always think like where are they gonna end up? Like what's their thing gonna do? And I think the truth is a lot of them are just gonna keep working.
They're gonna be in the same place chasing their tail and having a bad attitude, I think.
Yeah, you got to let that
I
stuff
just feel
slide.
like everybody is gonna like have their time, and if it's not yours, don't be shitty, because like it's
100%.
coming, and you want people to support you. So even if they're not being awesome,
I just think there's no. I mean, again, with that competition thing, I like I said, I get there's one spot or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, like, there's.
Maybe I just wasn't taking it as seriously as everyone.
But why would you though? You know what I mean?
That's my attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people, I guess, aren't thinking that way.
Which is cool until you start acting like a lunatic.
Right.
You have attitude problems and things like that. I can't remember.
And
what
like
point
some
I was
people were
working
just like legit getting sad, and like I hated that because
Yeah.
I'm like, we live to make people laugh. This isn't funny. Like what is happening?
on.
Yeah. Seeing you sad, not laughing.
Yeah.
Right now.
This
give
is
you
not
one
comedy. Yeah.
Just one small suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
that's and it's funny because I guess it makes sense. There's people like that probably all over the place,
For
right?
sure.
No matter what.
Oh yeah.
But I just, you'd think that would be one place where maybe it doesn't happen. I think like whether it be stand up or acting, to your point too. I mean, I guess there's more of a stigma of like what's the word?
Like a diva?
Like a diva
Yeah,
when it
that's
comes to like the
certainly
acting
like,
thing. But stand up, most stand up comedians, they are pretty laid back, I feel like, at least in the way that they speak when they're on mic. So to be backstage and see them like acting like that, I could understand how that would be like, what the hell's going on here?
I just think that there's, that's like an old world kind of thing to me. Like back when, it was like network TV or bust.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have, a dozen different outlets where you can build an audience doing whatever you want. So yeah, if you there's no point being shitty to anybody because it's like, let's just move on and keep doing this thing.
Right. If there was like, it's not like we were like competing to be like the host of the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Then I could see it. If there was a legit like, well then, you know what it is though? You get booked. You can start working at Helium.
Right. You
That's
can, like,
what it is.
They let you host stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely worth something, obviously, especially here because it's like the only place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just odd for me, personally. But again, people are taking things more serious than I am, and I don't know. I don't know their lives.
Yeah.
What about at a place like you mentioned being at Good Bar? Like, what about like what are the vibes when you're doing a mic night at a place like that? Like,
it's so fun.
Is it like a pretty good crowd?
Oh,
like,
that's my favorite. Good Bar is my favorite mic. Absolutely, hands down. I just like, I'll just describe like the things I like. I like that the stage is up a little bit higher. I don't know. I feel like you can hear the crowd really well from that stage. And I don't know how else to like describe, because I've been on stages where it's like I could see people, but I'm like, I can't hear if you're laughing or not. I can see their faces. But Good Bar, I feel like you get very good like return. You know what I mean? Like really good. You can hear them laughing a lot, even if there's not a ton of people.
Right.
And yeah, there's always like a really good crowd. It's pretty chill there, and that's super fun. That one's my favorite, definitely.
Is it the upstairs stage or like the stage? Yeah,
upstairs,
that's a great place for any thing like that. Like I've seen a couple concerts up there too, and it's like that's a good atmosphere. Have you ever been there?
One time when I was in high school, I wanted to do stand-up. So I went there, and my friend's girlfriend drove me there because I didn't have a license. I was like 16, and I got there, and they were like, you have to be 21 to come in. And I was like, even if you want to go upstairs? And the guy was like, yeah. And I just like put my head down, and I was like, I'm so sorry I made you drive me here. And then we just drove. They just took me home again.
Oh. So you've never actually been inside?
So I've never been inside. Okay. But I have been on the outside.
It's an unbelievable room. Yeah.
That's what I can't wait to see it one day. You know, if they'll let me in.
Yeah. But. If you get it.
So yes, I have been there once.
Nice.
They have really good wings too. They're like my favorite in the city.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And how often are you going there? Or I guess, you said there's limited open mics. How often are you still doing that? Are you trying to do that multiple times a week, or is it different schedule now?
A little bit different schedule. I mean, the mics are the same. My schedule is different though.
Yeah.
I haven't been. I'm more active in general when it's not 10,000 below zero outside.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't want to leave the house for anything.
The amount that I've spent on Uber Eats this past month in particular is insane. Yeah. It should be illegal, to be honest with you. Like, I see or I hear a lot of ads for like DraftKings and stuff when I listen to podcasts. I'm like, damn, people are losing their lives to that. Brother, I'm about to take out a second mortgage so I can get some goddamn Chick-fil-A something delivered right on time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Priority delivery ain't cheap, brother.
Smash the priority button.
But the problem is Wegmans is on there now, so if I need I got part of the thing I got for my wife for Valentine's Day was French butter. Because we went to France last year. It was awesome. She's like obsessed with the butter. Ooh. And then she asked me if I could like get her a baguette. She's like, I need a new baguette, because I got her a baguette to go with the butter, but I left it out so it went stale.
Wrong kind of baguette.
No, it wasn't the wrong kind of baguette. It was the right kind of baguette, brother. She's like, can you get me a baguette? And I'm like, looking outside, and it's so cold. I'm like, yeah, I'll get you a baguette. And I just boom, bang, boom, boom, boom.
Make some 17-year-old kid drop it off for $3 tip.
That's the thing I don't like is when they do that. So I try to, I give him a little something. Emmanuel, he's got people. He's got weed to buy. I assume that's why I would do one of those jobs. But it's just, and especially, I mean, I don't know if it's. I honestly think it maybe has snowed more in Rochester than it has here this year. Because I mean, I've been shoveling, constantly.
Should get a snowblower.
Yeah, I know I should get a snowblower. Actually, we share a driveway with the house next to us, and they have a snowblower. So sometimes I'll go out and I'll start to shovel the end of the driveway, which is like the worst part.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll, basically look so pitiful that this guy will come out and start to snowblow like the rest of the driveway. I'd be like, "Thank you so much, John." And I'll go inside and I'll play 2K.
I have a not to get back on snowblowers, but I have a similar issue, and this is the problem with it is that I have no neighbor that lives on my right hand side, but I do have a neighbor on my left hand side, and it is a 70-ish year old woman, and she does have a snowblower. And I'll be out there shoveling, and she'll come over and start to like snowblow the end of my driveway, and I'm like, "You cannot do." Like I'll get pissed. I'm like, "You have to stop. Like, do not do that." Like, imagine somebody driving by and being like, "Look at there's a 26-year-old healthy child letting a 75-year-old woman clear his driveway for him."
What if you're just like, "Hey, I can do your driveway. Can I use it for mine?"
Yeah, you should ask her that.
It's
because then you can do her.
I gotta buy a
driveway, too.
snowblower. I just gotta buy a snowblower. Because every time she's out with her snowblower, like now she'll kind of like ask, like, "Hey, want me to grab the end while I'm doing mine?" And like my response is, because I don't know how to tell her, like I'm just I'll throw up.
No, I like it that way.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'm
my favorite
hanging out.
part.
Yeah,
I'm saving it for last.
Yeah, I like the exercise. I throw her a line every time.
Yeah.
So I can't. Again, I can't go back on my original word of because I had to make a firm rule like do not snowblow my driveway because you just can't do that. Again, I'm supposed to be the one doing her driveway, but again, I'll start my driveway. Or I'll be almost done with my driveway, and then she'll come out and do her whole driveway and go back inside, and I've got like 3 more rows done. Like she zip done. She's out of there. So it doesn't really make sense for me to also go shovel her driveway. You know what I mean? Like there's
Well, what if you start to shovel her driveway and then she sees you?
That's why I got to buy a snowblower because then I'll just go snowblow her driveway, and then I avoid all my problems.
It makes so much more sense for you to go and say like, "I'll snowblow your driveway, but can I borrow it to do mine too?"
So here's the
that
thing.
Whole thing would take 15 minutes.
This gets a lot deeper into the
2
weeds.
minute to ask that question.
She has a garage. I don't have a
garage.
garage.
Well, forget it then.
I only have my shed. So I couldn't keep her snowblower in my shed.
Where did you get that from?
But here's the thing. But I'm not going to go into her garage every time I need the snowblower. What if she's not home? Or what if I tell her that and then I'm not home? Is she then going to assume she has to snowblow my driveway?
All right, take a breath. Breathe. I need you to take 3 deep breaths. Get him do you have a paper bag in studio?
I'm sweating.
Yeah, you are. Holy balls.
There's a lot that goes into
his anxiety wins.
This is why we're not riding the subway.
Neighbor.
This is why we're not riding the subway, basically. But that's so funny because that's literally the opposite of how every person in this city grew up. Because every single person I think who grew up in Buffalo, I don't know what the real estate laws are, but everyone I know grew up next to a 75-year-old woman and would like have to shovel their driveway when they were done with theirs.
We did it as child.
But by doing that, we've made them stronger somehow now. So now they're the ones who are taking control of things.
It's because they got to rest all those years.
Exactly.
We were shoveling.
Right.
Them.
So
they conserve.
No husband, because the husband's long gone.
What you're saying
no
to me
need
is
to shovel your driveway anymore.
I should take her snowblower and give her my shovel.
I'm saying you should probably marry her, and then you get the snowblower in the will.
Okay.
That's the Buffalo. What do they call that? Gold digger. You're a Buffalo gold digger.
Because there's more. There's even. I can go deeper into my brain in this. Like she has a pretty nice snowblower too. So I fear that if I get like a rinky, if I get like a rinky dink snowblower, she's still gonna be
Indiana
like,
Jones swap.
Like my snowblower works better than yours. I'm still gonna do my own driveway.
And he's definitely not a gold digger. If anything, he's a gold blower because he doesn't want to.
You're a gold blower.
He doesn't want to shovel
You're a classic
anymore.
gold blower. A Buffalo gold blower.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen.
Somebody's got to get it. Somebody's got to get it when she's gone, man.
That's
she's
true.
not going to live forever.
True. That is true. Not wishing any ill will upon my neighbor, though. Very nice lady. But I can't allow her to snowblow my driveway. I just can't.
No, of course not. But again, there's...
You're like a Seinfeld character.
But
like in real life.
Because here's the problem with this whole scenario is if a random person drives past my house and they see my neighbor like snowblowing their way to my driveway, like they're not going to know that I live there. But if somebody that does know me, or I think of you, the other neighbors on the block, if they see my neighbor snowblowing my driveway, they're going to be like, I didn't realize we had a shitty person living in our neighborhood. He's making this elder, and dude, she hangs her own Christmas lights. She's up there on the ladder. She's rock solid.
Yeah.
But I can't. Yeah.
You're like if George Costanza and Jerry Seinfeld had a son.
I'm trying to think of how to process that statement.
I'm so glad Matthew being compared to George Costanza in any way.
No, see that's
it's a connection I've never made.
What?
But I really like it.
No, I definitely have some Costanza in me.
Oh yeah,
I definitely have a touch of Costanza.
There's a lot of Costanza there.
Quite a bit of Costanza in you.
Yeah, I've got now that the problem is I just had a quick flashback of all the ridiculous grudges that I've held in my life.
Yeah,
and they're mostly Costanza-esque.
Yeah, now I'm looking back at all your grudges, like that.
Like there was
Spirit Halloween store thing. Oh wait, never mind. That wasn't a grudge.
Which is what happened. Yeah, I had a. Yeah, it's a social anxiety thing. Like I had an experience at Spirit Halloween that will probably bar me from ever shopping there again. But Amazon exists.
That's true.
So,
but listen, speaking from experience, when you need a fake gold tooth in a pinch, there's only one place to go.
I do love Spirit Halloween.
And that's Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. We're big on props.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. That's all I got there. But that's my snowblower debacle. I'll let you guys tell me what to do.
Should we do the who would win?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay. The who would win of the week this week is Steve Urkel versus Screech. Thank you for bringing this one to the table. From Saved by the Bell.
I'm just making sure.
Everybody knows that one.
I did, but it helped to say it. So for the folks like me out there, I'd
just say Dustin Diamond's character.
Samuel Screech Powers.
Yeah.
Samuel Screech Powers. I had already forgotten
his government name.
Yeah. Here's why Steve Urkel is taking it for me.
You're cutting right to it.
I'm cutting right to the chase.
You're not going to even warm us up.
Because I'm picking Urkel, and here's why. Because I feel like you've got these two guys who are, they're geeks, they're nerds, in that very classic sense. But I would say Steve Urkel, the reason that Steve Urkel is winning is because he's a nerd. And the reason that Screech is losing is because he's a geek. Because in the immortal words of Milhouse, I'm not a nerd, nerds are smart. And that's why Urkel would be, because Screech, they are both kind of the butt of the joke in their social circles, but Screech is not a boy genius, and Steve Urkel, and if he's got the machine that turns him into Steve Urkel or Stefan Urkel, rather, pardon me, Stefan Urkel, I mean that's game over, dude. That's like. I don't know. That's like Iron Man putting a suit on. You know what I'm saying? That's Cap pulling up his shield.
Urkel's scrawny though.
So Screech is pretty skinny too.
Yeah.
Screech is a skinny guy.
Dude, I imagine
picture a fat Screech. Can't do it.
I'm not thinking fat, but like I imagine I could wrap my fingers like this around Urkel's like bicep. That's a small.
And what about Screech? So if Urkel's this, Screech is that?
There might be a little separation between the thumb and the index.
Just because he's like California kid going out there, trying to keep up with Slater.
When I picture like Urkel's a stick figure in my brain.
Yeah,
Screech is not quite stick. He at least is a human.
Urkel's not human to you, huh?
No.
What's the big difference?
You're gonna
what's
try
the big difference?
Yeah. See, you're gonna do this whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah. See, he does this to me. I can't speak.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, you are.
I'm just considering your words for what they are. But I think, Screech wears like baggier clothes.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's because the freaking pants up to the
Yeah.
chin.
Yeah,
Just
you're
throwing
falling
you
for an
off.
optical illusion.
Yeah.
That could be. That's a fair point. See, this is why I have to talk it out. I can't just jump right into conclusions.
I'm trying to remember if Urkel ever like really got the wool pulled over his eyes, because Screech like was always alive. Would believe anything anybody tells him. Like he's very gullible and things like that. All things that I don't think. Also, if I can cut myself off, Steve is mad confident, regardless of what everybody's saying about him.
That's true.
And what's the girl next door that he likes?
Laura Winslow.
Laura Winslow. He never stops shooting a shot with Laura. Now it does get to a point where I really think he should take no for an answer, but he's still like, hey, I'm Steve Urkel, and Screech just nothing. Like that poor guy has no confidence.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, Urkel's taking this one.
For all the reasons that you just described, Screech. Plot twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
I'm
I'm saying yeah as in plot twist, and I was waiting for an explanation.
I'm giving you the explanation, and it's 3 words. School, shooter, energy.
I don't hate that. We didn't take that into consideration.
I don't know which camera to look at, but
Look at all of them. Emily, do the zoom. We can't. There's no sound.
oh my God, he's still catatonic over this one.
God damn it.
Oh yeah, he's been so beat down. He's been the butt of Zach Morris jokes for his entire adolescence. He can't get love to save his life from Lisa Turtle. I think even Violet Bickerstaff.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Did she even cheat on him? I don't know, but he's had a real bad go of it.
I think there was something where I think Zach did kiss her. Bickerstaff.
Yeah, like the pendulum just never swings in Screech's direction, and one can only take it for so long.
That's a good point, but I feel like if they went to the same school and Screech walked in with his AK that he legally purchased, I'm sure through all the correct channels, then I think that Steve, especially if Laura was like there, I think Steve would like save the class. I think he would kind of
Become a T-shirt.
Yeah, I think he'd become a decal in somebody's window. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, I do think Steve would successfully, honestly, tackle Screech in a school shooter situation. So I still think Urkel wins.
I think he tackles, and I think for sure, but he doesn't survive. He takes one for the team.
Right, but is that, if they both lose, who is that a victory for?
Well, no. How are they both losing? Screech is still...
But Urkel... what I'm saying is Urkel tackles him.
Right.
And then he gets captured. But I guess he shoots Urkel.
He definitely shoots Urkel.
So I guess that technically wouldn't be a win for Urkel.
No.
Is that what we're landing on?
We're
not
landing
so
on
much.
again.
Just
Back
spell
to-
it out for me.
back to
'cause
my
I
original
need
So
to
wait,
be
he
clear.
pistol whips Urkel, but
Yeah,
Urkel
right.
still wins? How is this what?
I don't get it.
Again, like Urkel has nothing to shoot but vital organs. Like that's all he's composed of. So
And you don't even have to shoot that hard either.
yeah. So listen.
Mind over matter. I'm locking in Steve.
My only takeaway, weighing both arguments very heavily here, because I strongly side with the school shooter energy point. But you did talk about that we're gonna get flagged for continuously use of the word school shooter.
I only said it once.
Yeah, I've said it at least 5 times. Yeah.
We're also that's the title of the episode.
Yeah. School shooter energy. Yep. That's good. Yeah. Hopefully we never have to go back to. I was never planning on being a teacher, so it shouldn't matter. But Urkel's confidence, I think, plays a big factor in that, because you are right. He's a very confident guy, and I think oftentimes in these fights that carries people a long way. I also think that there's a chance, because of his confidence, that he could. I don't know if talk him off a ledge is the term I want to use, but maybe like I think he could procrastinate. I think he could make up some shit to procrastinate long enough for somebody else to swoop in. again, does that count as a win for Urkel? I don't know. I'm a little bit torn.
I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel.
I don't think I see Urkel winning this fight. Now that we've brought the shooting into it, I just don't know.
The shooting is correct, but I do think that I can see Urkel winning this fight so vividly. I know he's got it. Just because even if Screech does, this is not a good way to put this, but get up the guts to come shoot up his school. I think he still is like he's not gonna load the gun right or something is good because nothing ever goes Screech's way.
Well,
he's a loser.
Let me
he
drop
loses.
you a scenario. So Screech shows up to the school with the gun. It's loaded incorrectly. Urkel goes up to him and is like, "Let me take that from you, buddy," and goes to fix the gun and shoot.
City business?
No, then he shoots himself. He accidentally shoots himself.
Urkel would not
in
do
attempt
that.
to correct
now,
the gun.
Would he potentially be
Shoot
like, "Oh,
somebody.
your gun's broken. Let me fix that for you, and now give it back to you"? That might happen.
Yeah.
That would happen.
That would happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would.
And then the rest of the school will get
You're
shot,
like-
and that's when he hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, did I do that?
Yeah, that's when he
You
hits.
got
the-
everyone
Yeah.
not do that. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it's coming. They're gonna be
Yeah.
upset if it doesn't happen.
Now I'm going with Screech.
Urkel, baby, I'm locking in Urkel.
Oh, Screech.
Whatever.
I like
2-1.
Screech. Yeah.
The courts will decide. History will tell.
Vote
History
on
will
that
say.
on Instagram on Friday. Who would win of the week? Screech versus Urkel. Battle of nerd
The
versus
sexist.
geek.
Nerd
Yeah.
versus geek, baby. It's a nerd versus
It's
geek.
a nerd
off.
versus geek.
Oh man, did you? I mean, of those wonderful '90s sitcoms, one thing that I didn't realize honestly is that Boy Meets World was a primetime show.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me because I only ever watched it in the afternoon on ABC Family, and it feels like the whole show feels like such an after school specialty type of thing, and it's crazy to me to think that this is what the networks were putting out for prime time. This is what America wants.
Wait, so you weren't around for the era of TGIF?
No, we missed TGIF. All those were on Nick at Night for us. Those were all our Nick at Night shows. Especially Family Matters was big Nick at Night. Friends I watched on Nick at Night mainly until the TBS runs. And it's good stuff, but it was Saved by the Bell a primetime show?
That's
Okay,
always been
couldn't have
Saturday morning.
Right, gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, it's just
That's crazy.
it's just so different.
Yeah. Well, now we're inundated with all of the reality TV and the competition shows and Bad Girls Club or whatever the hell. It's just all over the top now.
Bad Girls Club. That's a throwback. Shout out to VH1 circa 2010.
Was it there?
Oh yeah. I mean because I would watch the SNL VH1 reruns that they always played, and there were always commercials for Bad Girls Club on that.
God.
And I was like, I got to check this out sometime.
That was the good era of reality TV, where
What
there
is
was
straight trash?
Flavor of Love and Rock of Love.
And,
Dismissed.
yeah.
There was
Anything
a
else of
friggin' show
love,
called
yeah.
Dismissed.
What was that?
It was a dating show. And I don't remember. I want to say it was MTV, but MTV had that show next. So I don't know if I'm getting them confused. There were so many different dating shows. Oh, it was a rich time.
This is a much more
reality.
recent one. But did you ever see Dating Naked?
I
Also
have
VH1
heard of
original?
it. No.
Top quality
I would
program.
imagine.
It was so good. I mean it's excellent. The fact that they're naked is
I can't.
not even part of it.
Right.
They're so
much more
Exactly,
ridiculous.
exactly.
That's a blip on the radar.
I can't
Yeah, God, that was a
stand
good
modern day reality TV shows because I hate the awkwardness of the interactions that people in reality TV show play off as not awkward at all.
What are we talking? What are the modern reality shows that are like this? Love is Blind.
Love
are you talking
Island
about?
is the big one. I feel
Okay,
like that a
yeah.
lot of people watch and I sit there and cringe when I watch it.
You know what it is? Let me throw this out there for you guys. Here's the difference. When reality TV was first starting out, it, in a way, a little bit more was reality reality TV because the people they were picking were more just like average people, I guess. Yes. What I should say is, speaking generally, everyone on the planet at that time was less media savvy. I think that now...
It was like a level playing field.
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. Like, you know, and people, I think, didn't necessarily always understand, like, the way that they would be perceived on, like, television. But now, I think, Love Island, like, all those people were probably social media influencers or wanted to be before they even got on that show.
Yeah.
You know, now these reality shows are a lot more... Well, they always were kind of a career move, I guess.
Have you...
But, like, people want to be I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Have you seen that show, Trader?
Yes.
Is that the Peacock one?
Yes. So it's a reality show where they bring in all, like, contestants from old reality shows, from, like, all across, like... The Love Islands or Big Brother or Survivor, like they just bring in all these former reality TV show contestants and they like compete in I have yet to figure out the rules of the show. I'm still trying to understand.
I'm on episode 8.
I'm on season 2.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Finale? I don't know.
I'm on season 2 and I still don't totally understand it. But the guy that hosts it,
it's Alan Cumming.
Dude.
He's Floop from Spy Kids, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I know him from.
Yeah, I know,
I've been
man.
wondering that this whole time.
Yeah, I know you have.
Thinking about Googling it. I haven't got there yet because I didn't know his name. But dude, one of the greatest reality TV show hosts of all time.
He's a legend. He's a performer. He's an entertainer.
He wears like the most. So it takes place in a castle. And I don't know if the castle's actually like in Scotland but he goes full born and raised like Scotland, like just lays it on thick. Says the musical hit is great. The show itself not that good in my opinion, but he is worth the watch.
He's a legend. He's why I haven't checked it out yet, but he's why I want to watch that show.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, Alan Cummings. That guy can do no wrong.
I'm gonna figure it out because there's got to be a strategy to like reality shows like that where it's a competition, not like a dating show. I guess there's probably strategy.
Yeah, still strategy there for sure.
Well, that is the other thing about dating shows now. It's like, hey, if you're together when it ends, you get $1 million. And I feel like people are just like, hey, let's ride this one out, and then they just break up.
Half of those people get together so that they can make it to the vacation week.
Or like whatever that like.
That would be the end goal for me.
100%.
I'd be like, listen, we're going on this. We're gonna couple up. I don't care if you hate me.
Yeah.
We're going to the Bahamas.
Like,
act right.
Yeah, we're getting a helicopter ride.
Yes.
This crazy experience.
Yes.
Like,
hate me as much as you want. I'm getting a tan, motherfucker.
The only one I did like.
That was sorry.
No, you.
There's literally an episode of Dating Naked where this guy, like, in his interview before, because the way they do it is, they all get naked and then they like meet on the beach for the first time when they're nude. So this guy, like, in his pre-interview, is like. He's got a really stressful job. He's like, I just need a vacation.
Yes.
Like, don't tell this girl or I guess or whatever. But so then he ends up like really falling for this woman. And there's this scene where she's like, do you want me to pick you? Because I will. And he's like, I gotta go back to work. It's so good.
Oh my God.
That show, they canceled it too soon. I think it only had 3 seasons, but they had like an old man go on one time. And that guy he should have won that whole thing.
Yeah.
He was incredible.
What a concept for a show. We're just going to put a bunch of naked people together in the wilderness.
At first you hear it and it's like,
oh, that's Naked and Afraid.
Oh. Yeah. This is totally.
Which is
these
insane.
People are in the wilderness?
No, they're on a beach. They're in the nicest like places you can imagine. Where the place you want to be naked.
Beds? Like they have rooms?
Yeah, they got rooms. They got beds with like mosquito nets and stuff. It's really nice.
Okay, so they're still outside because like that.
No, there's a house,
and they go in,
but it's like open
they're cooking
concept.
dinner.
It's very open. Yeah, I think there's dinner being cooked.
Naked.
There are times when like you can. It's like dealer's choice whether you want to be naked or not. Some people go for like just the apron when they're cooking.
I was gonna say,
which that's
like
the look
imagine
I would
firing
go
up little bacon for breakfast.
You can't do that.
No, that could
don't
get
fry
very,
anything.
Yeah.
Little oil splatter.
Yeah,
it's a
be
bad
looking like
day.
Meryl Streep side boob.
There you go.
Yeah. The only reality show like that I did enjoy was that one that came out during COVID. I think it was called Too Hot to Handle.
Yes.
Where there was like prize money, but if you like touched your significant other or whatever in the show, they would pull money from the prize, and then
Yeah.
they, like the robot would come into the room and be like, "You lost $100,000 last night because somebody touched somebody."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like there would be people on it that would be like, fuck it, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
I'm going all in.
How much is a hand job really
Yeah.
worth? 20K, but I still get a couple of I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be all right.
Because there was people that went on it that were like, yeah, like I don't really care. Like yeah. And that was funny to me. But not because I liked the show, just because it was funny that they did that.
Oh, I thought you were like big into that show. I remember when you watched
No, I just thought it was funny that like people would be like just stupid enough to be like, I'm just going to do this. And then they would broadcast it to the whole show, the whole cast. They would be like, hey, this is why you lost this money, because this person did this. And people would either be pissed, or they'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep doing it. Yeah, like, sorry, what do you want me to do?
Do you watch a lot of reality TV now?
I do.
Oh yeah. What are the top ones?
Oh my God, 90 Day Fiance.
Emily, you watched a bunch of that, didn't you? Yeah, I've heard that's the shit.
It's a mess. I love it.
Oh, it's an international mess. It's great. And then another one, Love After Lockup. That might be.
They go
the
to
top.
jail together?
No, it's they fall in love while one is in jail, as one does.
Like pen pal style?
As most fairy tales begin. Yes. So, and the woman or the man who, and I feel like this is a theme in 90 Day Fiance also, where these people on the outside, or the Americans in the 90 Day situation, they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And somehow these people that they meet think that they're like their financial key, like once they're in America or out of jail. And it's like every single person that's on the outside or in America is telling the camera like, well, they don't know, but I'm in all this debt and I don't have the money, like I said, and this and that. And then they get out of jail or they get over to America and the bottom just falls out.
Holy shit.
And it's just like watching that, and it's amazing.
So 90 Day Fiance, they bring, like, somebody needs citizenship, essentially?
Yes.
And they just marry them?
Yep.
I fucking love that. Didn't know that existed.
There are a couple of guys that go to, like, Colombia or, like, Thailand or whatever, and there's, like, what are they called? They're, like, sex tours or something, where it's basically to just... Tours. Yeah, to, like, find, like... whoever you want to bring. I wanted to say this in a much different way, but whoever you want, tours, maybe bring over. Yeah.
Huh. Look at that. Yeah.
And it's just so
Haven't been to Colombia in a while. Might have to swing back by.
Yeah, people like go looking for a woman that they can
marry just to bring back over. And then lose to the show. That's what happens is you start on 90 Day Fiance, you come over from Colombia, and then you end up on the Love and Lockup show trying to find a new man from prison.
That's a hell of a reality run.
There were I think more back in the day, but there were a lot of like reality show crossovers.
That's what
at
I
least
mean.
of contestants.
Like Real World Road Rules.
Yeah.
I feel like they're the only one though.
They don't do any crossovers. Used to be,
but there were people.
But the island, all of the island love shows.
Yeah,
that's combined on something.
Yeah, they do different crossovers. Again, my problem with the Island Love shows is they make me way too uncomfortable. Like the way that people talk to each other, like I don't like listening to people's private conversations on my TV because it's hard for them to have them because they also know they're being recorded, so they're not like having it in a natural way. It's like very forced, and I just don't like it. And I don't like people cry on there all the time. They get very upset. And I just always want to say, like, what did you expect? Like, you're finding love on a show called Love Island.
That's the entertainment of it.
Well, yeah, to some people, but again, it's the it's a snowblower. It's a snowblower effect. I can't watch people go through that. I got to turn it off.
The thing that makes this $1 million industry is actually the thing I don't like about it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool take, Matthew.
I like Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore was fantastic.
Yeah. You couldn't look away from
that.
And
Silent Library, is that considered a reality TV show?
It was like a competition show, I guess.
That show
you know what? Game
laugh.
show. I just call that a game show.
Yeah, that show.
And that was a cool
laugh.
one. Yeah.
Did you guys ever see when it was on, and this is like a little bit off, but Guy Code?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I miss that show.
Yeah, I remember.
Was that on MTV?
Yeah, it was on MTV too.
MTV too, yeah.
Yeah, Guy Code was pretty big, and I remember like, oh, I gotta get into this, and I like sat down and I watched them all on like MTV.com, and I didn't like it as much as I like expected to at the time.
Had you seen it beforehand?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just watched it on there. I mean, maybe like once or twice I saw it on TV or whatever. A lot of great people on it though.
Yeah.
Chris Stefano. Pete Davidson, I think, was on
Chris
there.
Stefano lived in my neighborhood in New York.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
He's a funny guy. He's cool.
I saw him on the street, and he was walking with, like, his kids. And I was like, I know him. And, like, I saw him walking towards me. And I wanted to say something, but I didn't want it to be, like, a big deal, like, oh, you know, whatever. So as we're walking by, I settle on this to say, I know who you are. So he must have felt great with his children in tow. And my, like, 2 seconds of eye contact, just, I know you. Well, yeah, so.
Yeah. Andrew had a good
Awesome.
run. Andrew had a good run-in like that not long ago. In California.
Oh, fuck. That's right. I knew there was one. No, it was not. It was so I went to Los Angeles for this podcast convention last year, and I'd never been out that way. And I had an incredible time, and you know, I had in my head like this kind of list of like, you know, some of them are like funny things, but like quintessential Los Angeles trip stuff. And one of those things I was like, man, it'd be so funny to like see a porn star, because I've heard that like just like any other celebrity, I guess that's a place to see them. And I'm at one of the panels, sitting next to my friend, and there's this woman next to us, and we're talking, chatting, or whatever. And then we're watching the panel, and as it's going on, this woman, her friend, comes and sits down next to her. And I'm like, holy shit, that's Ryan Keeley, who is a porn star. So then I like, so then after the panel, we're still like, the woman is like, oh, guys, this is my friend, Ryan. And I shake her hand, and I go, I'm a fan. It's like...
That's what he said to her.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Which I don't think is like...
Oh, my God.
Which, you know what? But then my problem with that statement, I know we've had this conversation before, so we don't have to drag it on. But my problem with that statement is that you know what that implies, and that's... But
honestly, it's like if you... I think generally speaking, saying the first words out of your mouth being I'm a fan to like a known person is probably not the way to do it. But I know what I probably cut you off from saying is like me saying that to her means like I've seen her naked like having sex before. But that's her job, and that's like what she does. That's her performing. So I get that it's... I don't think it's that different necessarily from like if you ran into Bruno Mars and were like, I'm a fan. It's like, that implies you've seen him sing and dance before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she knows how he knows her.
Yeah. And we talked about D&D for like 40 minutes after that, so excuse me.
Wow. Right. That is a multifaceted woman.
Yeah. They've got a great podcast. It's called I Seduce the Dragon.
Is it
It's a D&D podcast, yeah.
Wow. That kind of sounds like it could be a Game of Thrones porn.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's probably where she got the idea.
Is she a Targaryen?
Could be Targaryen. A touch of Targaryen. Have you watched House of Dragon? That's got to be coming back soon, right? Oh, you didn't watch any of that stuff?
I didn't even watch
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I just know like enough to make a stupid joke like that.
That's all you need. That's all
exactly.
You need. It's worth it. I mean, I totally was ready to talk about it with you, so it's like...
That's perfect. Well, Christina, we can't thank you enough for coming on and
thank
hanging out with
so
us and
much.
chatting with us. Before we get out of here, just for everybody listening, where can people find you on social media? If you're going to be at any open mics or anything like that coming up, if you're doing any events.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram at Chris L Comedy, CHRISL Comedy. I am in a comedy festival on March 1st that's at Charlie's Boatyard. It's a comedy festival. It just sold out. So that's going on. And that's really all I have in the works for right now.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, like Matthew said, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Okay, great.
Andy, I love you.
Love you too. Let's get out of here. Thanks, folks.